Tracking your real estate leads is really important, and you need to have the right tool for the job. Notion is brilliant for this. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Andy, a property investor based in Maidenhead. On this channel, you can find advice and tips to help you systemise your real estate business using technology tools such as Notion and Asana, so you can free up time, outsource more easily, and ultimately get more deals done. Following on from last week's video about 5 ways to use Notion in your real estate business, today I'm going to show you how to use Notion to track and manage your real estate leads, including how to use databases to store leads, how to add a new property lead, use database templates to speed up your processes, use board view to move leads through your deal pipeline, use the calendar and dates feature to follow up with leads, and finally use filters to view specific properties. Plus, everything you're going to see today is available as a free download, so grab it using the link in the description below. But anyway, let's get on with it. The first thing to cover is why use databases to store your leads in Notion. Now, databases are an incredibly powerful feature of Notion. They allow you to store a whole load of different data. They allow you to go and filter and sort that data in a whole host of different ways, so you just view the data that you want to view. You can actually relate different databases together so that you can connect different types of information, which I'll cover shortly. And you can also use different views. So if you want to go and look at views in maybe a Kanban board view, maybe a timeline view, or even just a simple list, Notion's databases allow you to go and chop and change that data in a huge number of different ways. So they're really, really powerful. So now I've described what databases are about, I'm just going to show you a quick example within Notion. So I'm just going to share my screen. And here we can see the properties database. And here there's a few records that I've added, just dummy properties with lots of different fields. So for example, we've got the property name and the various address fields. So we've got the county here, which is what's called a select property, and we can select the different county. So these are obviously going to be relatively consistent. So rather than typing them in, we can just go and click on, which speeds things up. The estate agency field here, this is actually a related property. So I've got a list in a different database of estate agencies, and I can just go and select which one has listed this property, and it may be more than one. You can actually add multiple. Then scooting along, we've got the asking price, and this has got various numbers. This is a number field. Again, we've got more select properties for the condition and the actual status of these leads. When do we need to next follow up with this property? So a date field, number of beds. If these were listed online, we can add in a URL as well. Then we've also got the property ID and the sale status. So this is a table form. So this is how we can look at them in a list with all of the fields. But in here we've got an open button. So if I click that for this one specific record, we can see all of the different fields in a list. We can go and edit them, etc. And then underneath we've got notes, which I'll come to later. So that's a very high level overview of this property database within my Notion setup. Again, this is available in the template. So we've covered what a database is for and why it's useful. So next up, let's go and add a new property lead. So again, I'm here on my property leads dashboard, where we can go and do various tasks around our property leads. And as you can see here, I've got add a new property lead. So if I just click on that one, it takes us to a new page. And here we've got a different view of the database we just covered, where we can add a new property lead. Now, there are a couple of ways to do this. You can see here within the table, we've got a new button. So I could just click on that. Or on the right-hand side, we've got a blue new button. So if I just click on that, we can then go and add in a new property. So we've already got an icon that's been populated because this is a template, and I go over that more in a little bit. But let's quickly add a cover. This is quite useful. Now I'm just adding stock images, but if you got a picture of the property from online or taken a picture yourself, you can just upload it. But I'm just going to go to Unsplash and select property and just choose a stock image. Let's just choose this one, and just to speed things up. We can add a property ID, so I think we'll call this one number 5. We need to give the property an address. Maybe this is 2-3 the road. and then let's put C D 23 4 TR. So I just made that up. So we'll quickly put those details in again. Great. We're putting the asking price, so perhaps they're asking for £275,000. And this is a new lead, and that's been automatically created. The sales status, so is it currently on the market or has it been removed? So we'll say this is for sale. What condition? Now this is subjective, so just make a judgment call on how what the condition of the property is like. So let's say that this one is in really good condition. This is, let's say it's a terraced house with 3 bedrooms. Next follow-up date, we'll leave that. Let's just select an estate agency, the OK agency, and that's it. So that's a really straightforward way that you can add a property to the property database. If you did want to do it from the main page, you can just click New and then just work your way across the fields to add the property details in. But I find it a little bit easier when they're all in a list rather than a table and you've got to sort of scroll across. So that's how you can add a new property lead to the property database. Now you may have noticed that when I added a new property lead in the previous section, it actually came up with a house, little symbol at the top, and it also said that it was a new lead. And that's because it's defaulting to use a template. Now, templates are a really powerful way to go and speed up your data entry. They can make they can be really simple, or they can be very, very complicated with a huge amount of information in them. So what I'm going to do now is just show you the template that I've got and what it does to speed up adding in a new property lead. So if I just go into add property lead, on the right hand side here, to the right of new, there's a little drop down, and here we can see we've got a template which is add new property, and that's our default. So when we click new, either at the bottom or on the right hand side, it straight away uses that template rather than a blank page. Now, rather than clicking on it, we've got the 3 dots to the right hand side, so I can click those and go edit. And from here, this shows us what the template is going to look like. So as we saw earlier, it's already put a house in at the top for the icon. It's already said that the lead status is new because we assume that it's a new property. And we've also got these sections down the bottom. Now, within one of these records, there is various information that for each house we're going to want to go and capture. So, for example, got a deal summary. So perhaps we could say that it's got lots of space in garden, opportunity to extend. So we could just write our initial thoughts, been on the market 3 months, etc. So we're always going to have a summary of what we think the deal could be. Then we've got our communication history. So whenever we speak to the agent, or perhaps we're direct to the landlord, we could just write down what we've chatted about. And I've actually got a little template here. So this is a template within a template, and that really shows the power of Notion and their templates. So if I just click new conversation, straight away it's got these headers. So I could say that this is information added by Andy. I spoke to Bob at the agency. Let's say the date was the 17th of Jan 23, and let's just say open to offers. So straight away, we've just added in there a little update. It's put in those prompts so you don't have to remember them yourselves, and that's all part of this template. Now, I'm editing the template at the moment, so I need to be careful because it will go and change the template itself. So I'm just going to go and delete all those bits. In fact, delete all of those, but that's how you would go ahead and use the template functionality. Again, we've got viewings, so we could have a template in here for viewing prompts and offers. So this is all in the template, so it's really, really powerful, and it speeds up how you update entry. It allows you to reduce errors, also outsource. So if you had this template, you could then hand those prompts over to somebody else and they wouldn't forget anything. So you can share that best practice with team members. So templates are brilliant. So that's how you can use them within the property lead section in this Notion template. Now, as we come across leads, we want to make sure that as well as gathering information, we take them through a process. And with our leads, we want to go and analyze them. We want to go on a viewing. We'll then put in an offer. If the offer is accepted, we then want to go and maybe we'll go through conveyancing, and eventually we'll purchase the property. And so Notion is brilliant for tracking that as well. So again, I'm here on the property leads dashboard, and let's go to our deal pipeline. Now, this is actually a different view. So Notion databases can be viewed in lots of different ways. And this is actually called the board view, where database items are laid out in groups based on a certain property. So here we've got them based on their status, but you could also do it based on who is the owner of the lead, or the type of property. So maybe we've got detached or semi-detached. It could group those all together. So there's loads of ways, different ways to go and cut the information. So what I've done is here, this is all of our active leads based on their status. So we've got a couple of new leads. This is the one we've just added, so 23 The Road, and we can see that's a new lead. We've got some going through deal analysis, offers, etc. And you may have sort of heard of other tools such as Trello, and they operate in a similar way. But the power of Notion is that you can put these boards anywhere. You can go and intermingle them. You can put them in their own cards. I've got lots of different types of them here. So it's a lot more flexible, whereas Trello is a bit more rigid. So let me just give you an example of how we can use this board view for some of our leads. So taking our example from earlier, we've got 23 The Road. I've just added that in. So let's say that I've now picked that up, and that's in our initial review stage. And I might be doing some due diligence, looking at the local area, speaking to the agent about the current situation of the owners, etc. And I may be, right, this is a fantastic property, really looks good, good price. So I'm now going to go and book a viewing. Straight away, I can see that I need to book a viewing. Here's the agency, so I can click through to their details, and maybe I've then gone and got that viewing booked in. If the viewing has gone really, really well, I may then go into deal analysis, or I may think, oh, it's not that great. So instead, I can go and drag the property from viewing all the way across into follow-up. So it's not great now, I may follow up later, but I don't want to go and progress it at the moment. Yeah, as you can see, it's a really visual, easy to use way of managing your leads through your pipeline. What I've also done here is created some other views. So as well as our total active leads, we've got our pre-offer leads. So this is before we actually make any offers. So it's sort of a subset of that board. So we've got new leads when we're initially reviewing them, booking a viewing, the viewing's booked, and then into deal analysis. And then we've got our post-offer leads. So once an offer's gone in, so let's say we've made an offer on New Road, we may then go into negotiation, the offer's accepted, and then into conveyancing before purchase. And also, finally, we've got new leads. So we've got new leads for review, and this could go a couple of different ways. We get a new lead in, we'll review it, and we may think, oh, I'm not that interested. So maybe this 321 The Road, we'll actually take it into initial review. We'll look at it and think it's a dud, not really bothered. And so within this view, we can very easily then archive it instead. Oh, missed that. So I can just move it into archive. So as you can see, boards are really powerful. They're nice and visual, very tactile, just for grabbing and dragging things around. Yeah, they're a fantastic way to manage your pipeline. Up here, I'm just going to move some of these back again. And that's how you can use Notion to track your property deal pipeline. A lot of property deals actually come through follow-up. So we may put in an offer, it may be rejected. We may have a chat with the landlord who's not that interested in selling just yet. And so at some point in the future, we want to send them a text, give them a ring, and follow up. And again, we can do that through our property lead database in Notion. So I'm here again on the leads dashboard, and we've got here properties for follow-up. So if I just click through to that, another way that you can view your databases in Notion is by using the calendar view. And as we can see here, we've got our follow-ups in the calendar view, and we've got January visible here. So we're currently on the 19th, which is the red dot, and next Thursday we can see that 25 New Road needs to be followed up. And if I open that record, that's just based on this next follow-up date record here. And you can set these for however you want. So if we spoke to this owner, we could then go and wait a couple of months. and then go and put in a date perhaps in March. Or perhaps we've sent them an offer, we're just waiting for them to reply, and it needs to be a lot sooner. So maybe we'll follow up with them next Monday. And if I just put that date in, we can then go and see that oh, I need to change the filter. So we've got filters on here as well. So let me just go and remove that filter. And there we go. We can see the different follow-ups that we've got coming over the next few weeks. So this is a calendar view, but we can also view in a table. So here we've got another filter on. So that's just on or after a week from now. So if I just go and change this filter and remove it, we can then see all of our follow-ups in a list, including the 2 that are blank. So there's a couple of different ways to view it. There's calendars and there's also the table, but I think the calendar's quite nice because you can literally just pop in every day what's on your list and take action. And that's the way that you're going to secure property deals. And finally, we're going to look at using filters to view and find specific properties. Now, because we've added loads of information around our properties, such as their condition, the agent, how much they're on the market for, there's a huge number of different ways that we can view these properties, and that's by using views and sorts. So let me show you how this works, because it's really, really powerful. So if I scroll down, we've got one of our all leads here, and we can just see a long list of all of the leads that we've entered into Notion. I'm just going to show you a few examples. So the first one that I want to show you is, let's add a new view here, and views are ways of looking at the data that you can come back to later. And we first need to select which database are we looking at. So it's the properties database, okay? And then do we want to copy an existing view? So no, I want to add a new view. And this one, what we're going to do is just look for properties that have got 4 or more bedrooms. And let's have a look at a table. We don't want to see the database table because that sort of gets in the way. So we've got our new view, and it's labeled it clickable here, but clearly if we have a look at the number of bedrooms, we've got some with 3, some with 4, and that's because we've not filtered them yet. So if I go to filter, and then we can go and search for the property, so it's bedrooms. So number of beds, just go and select that one. And then we need to put our criteria. So firstly, it needs to be equal to or more than 4. So we'll select the right symbol, which is this one, and then put 4 bedrooms. And straight away, the data has changed. And if I scroll across, we can see here that number of beds is 4. If I just change these on the fly, so if I change that to 5, that stays the same because it still meets the criteria. But if I change that to 3 and press enter, it's disappeared because it no longer meets the criteria. So that's a really simple one. So next up, let's go and do a specific agency that only new properties. So again, I'm going to click to add a view. It's the properties database. Do I want to copy one? No, let's do another empty view. This time, let's call it the best seller, which is the agency, and it's new properties only. And just to change things up a bit, let's make a list. We don't want the database title. Great. So again, it's showing us all of the properties, apply our filter. This time, firstly, we want to go and choose the agency. So the estate agency here, and we want to select just the bestseller agency, okay? However, this is showing us all of the properties that they've listed. And if we quickly go into properties and just select the property type or the sales, the lead status. So if I just click this I, that will also appear. We can see here that we've got one that's a follow-up and one that's archive. So let me quickly change one of these so that it is a new lead to make this work. Great, so we can see that we haven't met what we want to do yet. We only want to see the new leads. So I need to go and expand on our filter. So I click add filter. This time we want our lead status. And this time we just want to have the new ones. I'll just tick that box. And there we go. So this is the property that is for the bestseller agency and it's new. And we can go and add other properties in that we want. So perhaps we also want to know the asking price as well, and we can see that in the list. So that's the second example of filtering properties. And then the very last one, I've actually got it here already. So this one are properties that are in a bad condition, so they're not excellent or good, and they're less than 300,000. So let's just dig into this. So we'll go to the filter. We can see here that we've deselected excellent and good condition. We just want the fair, the poor, and the derelict. Now we want to also add in the price filter. So this may already be in here. So let's go advanced filter, add a filter rule. And this time it's going to be the asking price. And the asking price needs to be less than 300,000. So I'll just add that in as well. So we've now got two rules, and we can see that the price is 250 and 200. So they're both below our rule of £300,000. And we can just cycle between these. So we've got lists, we've got tables, each with their different criteria. We can look at all the leads, and this just demonstrates the power of Notion, its flexibility, its ability to view database data in different ways, and it's a fantastic way to manage your pipeline of property deals. Let me know in the comments below if there are any other ways that you would use Notion to track your property leads. And this video is the first in a multi-part series all about using Notion in your real estate business. So do check out the playlist above, and also make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell down below so you don't miss out on any of the future videos. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to catching you in the next video. See ya.